My name is Bernard George. I'm here today at the request of friends to speak briefly on the history of Greenwood Cemetery and its neighborhood. The cemetery has a long storied history. There are many African Americans buried here who are of notable success here in New Bern, statewide, and even nationally. The graves here date back to about the turn of the 19th century, and they were relocated, some of the very earliest ones, in fact, of which I'm standing near, were relocated here from Cedar Grove Cemetery, which is about 3 blocks to the south of here. This probably started out as a neighborhood, community, or family burying place until it became attractive to the city to open up as the first African-American cemetery in the city. Cedar Grove was a burying ground for both blacks and whites in the early history of this city. As we lead up to the Civil War, things became more and more divided between the races. And the city decreed that no more African Americans would be buried there in Cedar Grove, and that they created Greenwood Cemetery, which is a beautiful area here for African Americans. In fact, in around the turn of the 20th century, about 1913, 1910, it was noticed that Cedar Grove was running out of burial space. And so it was decided that the African Americans who were buried in certain areas, and there were many all over Cedar Grove, a certain area, they were dug up. And at first there were about 12 graves that were recognized to have been dug up, but there were probably many more to create more space for white internments. Those graves were reinterred, those bodies were reinterred here. And when this was discovered by Bill Hand, a local newspaper reporter, and reported, there was a movement among the community to have something done to respect these folk who had been so totally disrespected, and to bring a close to a very sorry chapter in our city's history. Very proud of the fact that the city did recognize that this was wrong, and they came together with Ben and with Reverend Johnson and others, and we have a memorial sign here that recognizes these graves here. And these graves go all the way back to about 1800. And also there's a similar sign at Cedar Grove recognizing the fact that these bodies were removed.
We're now at the gravesite of the Roan family. The Roan family played a major role in the lives of not only New Bern African Americans, both white and black, the entire community. We'll hear a lot about the Roans during and the role they played during and after the Great Fire of 1922 here in New Bern. And the family names most associated with that time include Charlotte Roan. Charlotte Roan is believed to have been the first Negro registered nurse. She had a mentor and a nurse who had done some nursing named Mary Mahoney in another state. But at any rate, they all got together and they created the National Association of Colored Nurses. That was one of the things that helped them be able to move up to the rank of becoming a registered nurse when it became effective in the state of North Carolina. So also, their home was destroyed during the fire, and she and 2 of her sisters built a hotel. And that hotel building is still standing on Queen Street, and it is the Roan Hotel. It too is of historic value in North Carolina and New Bern. We're now at the gravesite of Mr. John Thomas Barber. John Thomas Barber was the principal of West Street Graded School. Mr. Barber has been called the father of education in Craven County for Negro children. Mr. Barber retired in 1945, and unfortunately he died not long after his retirement. Mr. Barber has a school named for him. It's now called J.T. Barber Elementary School. I could not leave out Mrs. Livonia Porter Frazier. She was married to attorney Reginald Frazier here in New Bern. She was originally from Washington, D.C. And most outstanding about Mrs. Frazier was that she was the first Negro model for Pepsi Cola. Very beautiful lady. She not only modeled for Pepsi Cola, she modeled for Jet Magazine, Ebony Magazine, and other articles and magazines. Mrs. Livonia Porter Frazier, who just recently died May 2021.